So the NES Classic is arguably going to be one of the hottest holiday items this holiday season, bringing the NES back to the forefront, bringing all these amazing games that a lot of us grew up on. 30 games in all on a small, compact, plug-and-play system is an awesome way to reinvigorate people's interest in Nintendo in North America. But not to be outdone, the Famicom Mini has been announced for Japan. So I thought it would be neat to put these two systems up side by side. They are both Nintendo products, and see which one offers a better value for you, the consumer, and which one you should probably pick up this holiday season. Now, this is all in fun. This is all just, my personal opinion. So if your opinion is different, let me know in the comments section below. Now, without any further ado, let's put the NES Classic up against the Famicom Mini and see which one earns your holiday money. So in terms of design, I've grown up with the NES. The NES is a very familiar system to me, so I know what the NES looks like. I've seen it, for years. I've owned a million NES systems. So the NES Classic, being just a small, fit-in-your-hand NES, is a cool-looking system. But me personally, I like the Famicom Mini a little bit better in terms of aesthetics. I like that sort of cream color, that sort of off-white, and that bright red that makes the Famicom really stick out. And I've never owned a Famicom system, so it looks different to me. It looks unique, and it's such an iconic piece of Japanese culture because it was one of the first, successful home consoles in the Japanese market, if not the first successful home console in the Japanese market. So the Famicom Mini definitely looks a little bit better than the NES Classic, but like I said, that's probably just a product of my environment, owning so many NES systems. Now, which do you think looks better? They both are just downscaled sizes of these classic systems. Now, like I said, the Famicom Mini just takes the cake for me. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Now, of course, the most important part is the games. Now, the NES Classic offers 30 games, and the Famicom Mini also does as well, but there are some differences. I am going to cheat and use my cell phone here because there's 6 games that the NES Classic offers that the Famicom Mini does not, and vice versa. Now, I won't try to butcher the names of the Famicom games. I'll put them up on the screen, but for now, let's talk about what the Famicom Mini does not have. That would be Final Fantasy 1, Bubble Bobble, Donkey Kong Jr., Kid Icarus, Tecmo Bowl, and Star Tropics. Now, obviously, a game like Tecmo Bowl is not going to be popular in the Japanese market because football is an American game, let's face it. But it is pretty interesting to see games like Star Tropics and Final Fantasy 1 not being on the list. Now, for the Famicom Mini, like I said, it does offer a few different games, and I'll just try to pronounce the English ones. Final Fantasy 3, Solomon's Key, NES Open Tournament Golf, and a couple other Japanese-centric games that I'll put names up on the screen. Now, of course, Final Fantasy 3 is a much more interesting package than Final Fantasy 1 to me because I played Final Fantasy 1 to death, and I always thought Final Fantasy 3 was a better game, like a lot of people do. However, you have to remember that this is a system designed for the Japanese market, so there will not be English, as far as I know, translations of these games, so that sort of hinders this game to me. You're not going to be able to play an RPG if you don't know the native language. So the NES Classic, it does kind of take the cake on this one for me. Final Fantasy 1 is still a great game. I would have loved to have Final Fantasy 3 fully translated in English on the NES Mini, but in terms of games, I've got to give it to the NES Classic just because I'll be able to understand them, whereas the Famicom Mini, I don't speak Japanese yet. So far I have chosen the Famicom Mini in terms of design and the NES Classic in terms of games, and we all know games are the most important thing at the end of the day. So which system do I prefer? Which system do I recommend you pick up? Why not both? You're probably a retro game collector. You probably have an appreciation of these retro games, and at 60 bucks, I mean, come on, a lot of us are adults here. We could spring 120 bucks to have some very cool collectibles to add to our collection. So with 60 bucks a pop, you can't really go wrong with either one. I honestly will probably pick up both this holiday season because I'd like to be able to test out these Famicom Mini games. I've never owned a Famicom, and it's a very attractive looking system. So in my opinion, pick up both if you can afford it. If you can't, you're probably better off sticking with the NES Classic. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video. I just, like I said, this is very lighthearted. It's not a very in-depth comparison. I do hope to have both of these systems this holiday season so I could show you some differences between the two systems, and I'll record them and of course put them up on the channel. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for leaving me a comment down below. Let me know which one you plan on picking up, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I will see you guys next time. Later.